From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, that heat is going to be coming on back, although it did cool down today. But we had the peak of the cooling trend today. Now, temperatures are going to start to increase going into tomorrow, and we're really going to feel it come Friday and Saturday, which we'll get into that in a second. So again, there's that peak, and then temperatures will drop again as we go into the second half of the weekend and next week. Now, the National Weather Service did issue a heat advisory for basically the valley and the surrounding foothills from 11 a.m. Friday until 11 p.m. on Saturday. And again, that's the peak of the heat wave I've been talking about pretty much all week long, with temperatures upwards of 110 degrees and higher in some areas. Now let's talk about the fire potential, because we look at Thursday and what we're seeing here is just a lot of yellow on the map. Now what that essentially means is that there's a low risk for a fire start. Now it's dry, it's going to be hot, but we still have to be concerned about fire spreading rapidly during this time of the year, but the conditions aren't prime and they're not ripe for these fires to spread very rapidly. Typically you need the drier conditions, and not to mention the gusty winds. So we look at the forecast winds and the dew point. Now the dew points are these colors, so the darker the red, the drier it is, and of course the winds are the numbers that we're seeing here. So let's take you into Thursday morning. Winds are fairly calm, and it's actually not too terribly dry out there. Now the winds will pick up for tomorrow afternoon, and it's also going to see some lower humidity, especially off in the eastern mountains and Modoc County. Now we go into Friday morning, the winds die down, humidity not that much of an issue, humidity will be dropping, much drier conditions here as we go into Friday afternoon. But again, the wind's not a major factor, but they're starting to gust up a little bit, upwards of 15 miles per hour and a little higher in some spots. Now let's talk about the smoke, because you can see the flat fire right here. It is expected to produce a lot of smoke, and it will kind of shift southward here through Thursday morning. So I think you're going to smell a lot of smoke off of the northwestern portions of the state, and mainly just in the form of haze elsewhere. Now that smoke, as we go through the day on Thursday, will kind of spread southward, and then the winds will push it a little bit eastward. So more smoke off to the west of us, but for the Siskiyou County, for Modoc County, the eastern mountains, and for the valley, mainly just in the form of some haze. Now, as we go into Thursday night, some of that may translate into some smoke that you might smell, but I'm not expecting to be really all that bad. So here's what we expect here for tonight. Probably somewhere in the upper 60s to around 70 tonight for the valley. But by tomorrow, yeah, it's starting to warm up again. We're going to get well back over 100 degrees here. Now look at your forecast for the mountains, Siskiyou and Modoc County. We've got mid-90s for your Thursday for Mount Shasta City, Etna, Alturas. And for the eastern mountains, temperatures upper 90s, but not quite reaching that triple-digit mark just yet. Of course, that may change here as we go into the next couple of days, but you can see the monsoon moisture is still off to our east. We track that monsoon moisture, and it looks like by Saturday and maybe even Sunday, we'll see some of that monsoon moisture over us. Now, the thing is, it doesn't look like it's going to be all that significant, so I'm not anticipating much in the way of any thunderstorms, if any, quite honestly. So at this point, I don't have any thunderstorms in the forecast for your Saturday or Sunday, but that may change if we can get more of that monsoon moisture than anticipated. So there's the peak of the heat wave on Friday. Right here, that main bubble of heat on top of us, or just to the east of us. It shifts eastward on Saturday, so temperatures start to drop. This cooler air will basically just ride over that ridge of high pressure, flatten it out, and push that heat down to the south and east. And we, as a result, will see a significant drop in our temperatures as we go through at least the middle of next week. But still warm, by the way. You'll see that on the 7-day forecast. But tonight, mid to upper 60s to around 70 for the valley, and temperatures in the 50s for the higher elevations for most of us. We take a look at your forecast highs for tomorrow. Yeah, it's over 100 degrees pretty much anywhere you go. 101 for Oroville, 100 for Willows, but 106 for a high in Redding. And there you can see temperatures staying just below 100 degrees for most of us in the higher elevations. So let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Mount Shasta. Not out of the question for you to maybe get up to 100 degrees on Friday. But overall, upper 90s for Friday, Saturday. Temperatures dropping down to the low 90s by the beginning of next week. Alturas most likely below 100 degrees as well. and should be in the low 90s by next week as well. And then Susanville, you could be up to about 100 degrees or slightly higher, especially for Friday and maybe even to Saturday. And then we're back down to the mid-90s by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And how about the Valley? Well, no surprises here, right? It's going to be really hot. Temperature of 111 degrees on Friday, 110 Saturday for Reading, and then down to a little over 100 by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And how about Red Bluff? You could drop down just below 100 degrees by next Monday, and I think a better chance for Chico for next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.